I had two options: to either be that 300-pound guy who sprayed for cockroaches and made $1,000 a month, and at 24 years old, knowing when I'm 50 fucking years old, I can reflect on this and think about what guy I never became, or I can totally just sack it up and fail and fail and fail until I succeed.
Does it bother you that so many people are happy to see you fail?
Absolutely not.
Don't be afraid to fail.
Everybody's afraid of failure. It's embarrassing as shit.
I have failed far more times than I've succeeded. Far more. You will never succeed more than you fail. That's not how it works. You know why? Because failure is a wonderful teacher. It's the only way to learn. You have to fail. Failure is a part of the process to becoming successful.
There's a saying out there in the military. They say first time, every time. Well, I wasn't that guy. I failed everything I did the first time. I was known for coming back even harder after I failed. Success isn't a straight line. It's a maze. And when you think you figure that maze out, you hit a wall. And you gotta turn the fuck around and start again. Stay hard.
Failure is the ultimate thing, man. I failed so many times before. That's why I don't look at failure anymore as failure. I look at it as my first, second, and third attempt. When I fail, I can't spend much time in that fail zone. I have to be able to get up and get after the next day just as fast, because my goals were to be a Navy SEAL. I don't have time to stay here and feel bad for myself for weeks and months and years, because I'll lose that time. So the big thing is know that if you have big goals and big dreams, along the way failure is going to happen. So how fast do you get up from that?
You got to get through it. You got to get through bad feelings. You got to get through. Failure. It's very important, and you get through it by just picking yourself back up and moving forward and going. But it's hard for a lot of people because that sting, they never get over it. The feeling of failure.
Failure is a part of the process.
Some people believe that training to failure is when they want to stop. It's not when you want to stop.
That's why failure is so important. Like failing and fucking up and making mistakes. It's very important. That's how you learn. That's how the bad feeling that you get from something that you shouldn't have done or wish you didn't do or wish you did better. Like especially failing at something where you half-assed it and you just feel like a fucking loser. Like that just teaches you. It teaches you to get your shit together.
Michael Jordan played 15 years, won 6 championships. The other 9 years was a failure. It's a wrong question. There's no failure in sports. You know, there's good days, bad days. Some days you are able to be successful, some days you're not. Some days it's your turn, some days it's not your turn. And that's what sports is about. You don't always win.
I learned about life in the gym. Everything I know about life, I learned at the squat rack. I learned how to fail in the gym. I learned how to fail and fall on my face many, many times that you never read about. Okay? And I keep getting up.
I don't see failure. I see grit, determination, drive, sacrifice. Failure means you're trying. A whole bunch of people out here never fail because they never try. He said, how do you handle failure, Goggins? I said, I don't look at it as failure. I look at it as my first, second, third attempt.
I'm still working in this business after losing the 81 Olympia. I didn't win. I failed at winning the Olympia. I'll repeat myself. I failed at winning the 81 Olympia, but I'm still working 35 years later, still doing seminars, still doing stuff in the industry. So again, I think it's really an attitude and an energy that sort of I figured out or God gave to me, I don't know, or both, that it's allowed me to live and prosper very, very well. I mean, there are many times where I looked at myself and said, do I really have what it takes? And the answer was like, I got to get up. I got to keep moving forward no matter what. I mean, and I do this with everything, but even in the eyes of failure, even like failure is looking at me, I'm like, I'm going this way. You know, I challenge failure every time. I learned that on the squat rack.
If I want to be way up here, it's going to take a bunch of small micro failures along the way. But you have to understand that that is part of the process.
I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fucking fail, I'm gonna fucking fail, I'm gonna fucking fail, and I will succeed.
You think, I'm a fucking loser, I can't do this, I'm gonna fail, I'm gonna fuck up, you know.
Achieve failure. In the gym, achieve failure.
All of you in this room want to be successful as hell. But the journey to success comes with a lot of what? Failure. So why the fuck don't you teach yourself, like I taught myself, is how to fail? So when you get judged, when everything is said and done with, you won't get judged on your medals. You get judged on your scars. Those scars show your willingness to get to the other side. They show your failures. They show your willingness to start from scratch. They show what you're willing to do to go the distance, to see what you're capable of. So make sure in life, don't be afraid to get scars. In the first several months was nothing but failure. So how am I gonna get up the next morning when I failed the day before?
You gotta go out there and fail. You gotta go out there and fall down. Most people have won big and failed big.
Keep going. You're supposed to fail.
You have to fail.
At the end of the day, I ask myself one question: can I take one more step? And usually the answer is yes. So if you can answer that question and not take another step, that is real failure. That is real quitting.